friends, we meet again. Today, I'd like to tell you all a story. I would like to warn you all beforehand that this story will be a little different, as I will be playing as the main character to tell her story, which is a purely fictional story. We will also be talking about depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation, so do proceed with caution. Just live your life. It's me, Eva William, the only daughter of Jason William, CEO of W Company. I'm in the second year of high school and I have a great life. My dad has taken care of me since my mom's death 5 years ago. I'm lucky to have him working day and night to raise me all on his own. So the least I could do is be the best Eva I can. And that's what I've done all my life. Studying 7 hours per day is my fixed schedule that can't be bothered. I also have a lot of friends at school. They're loyal and kind. I'll never be alone. I'm happy that I have a lot of friends that care about me. Well, at least that's what I thought. It's the weekend, and the Williams family usually holds a family gathering. This time, it's at my cousin's house, Astra, the best of the best third generation of Williams. She's great, a straight-A student, president of the student council, a great pianist, and also a celebgram. She's also pretty wise and refined. No wonder she's liked by all the Williams in my family. I'm nowhere near her. She's too perfect, and I hate that fact. Whenever the family gathers, my father compares me to her. He said that I have to be as smart as her. Well, I am, except for chemistry. He said that I better study harder to be like her. Is 7 hours of studying not enough? And many other criticisms from my dad comparing me to her. That makes me overthink everything. Am I not good enough? Do I always disappoint Dad? I think that's true. Nothing I achieve will ever be good enough. The dinner arrived and I sat next to Astra. Everything's fine until I accidentally spilled a drink on Astra's clothes. I panicked, searched for napkins, while continuously apologizing to her. Astra stopped me and said,
"It's okay, Eva. It was an accident, not your fault."
With a beautiful smile on her face. She then stood up and went to the restroom to clean her clothes. Dad, who sat across from us, glared at me, as his eyes told me that I've messed up. After dinner, we went home. On the way home, my dad didn't say a single word until we arrived. That makes the guilt inside me get worse. When we arrived at home, we went to our rooms. In my room, I couldn't sleep. The thought of me messing up that day kept me up, and it was only a matter of time before my eyes lingered elsewhere, to a bottle I knew safely stored in the very nightstand my gaze fell upon. The next morning, I felt really terrible. My head's dizzy, and unfortunately, I forgot to do my homeworks for today's subject. At 7 a.m., I arrive at school. Alice, Scarlett, Piper, and Tessa came to my desk asking for homework answers. Disappointedly, I told them that I didn't have the answer yet. Hearing that, they were annoyed and went away. I sat on my chair and rushed the homework. Later that day, Miss Adora, with her suspicious smile, came and said,
"I have a gift for everyone."
She pulled out some papers and continued,
"Yes, a chemistry quiz today."
Everyone in the class whined. Not few of them voiced their protests. But a quiz is a quiz, and no one can change that. I haven't prepared, and I knew this wouldn't end well. The papers were distributed, and I tried to do it. Scarlett, who was sitting next to me, cheated off my work without me knowing, because I was too focused on my own work to realize what she was doing. The next day, Miss Adora gave out the quiz results. I had a bad feeling about this, and yeah, what I thought overnight was right. I got a 70. I was too stunned to speak. Scarlett, Piper, and Tessa came up to me and blamed me.
It's your fault that we didn't get a good mark.
They said with annoyed faces and went away. But Alice stayed still and said,
Are you alright? It seems that you're a little bit down today. Anything wrong?
A voice came up and said, Just say fine. She's just pitying you. And although it shocked me, I did exactly what she said. I whispered to the voice, Who are you? The voice answered, I am you. Your other self. Ring, ring. The school bells rang as a time to go home. While studying, the voice came back to disturb me. Why are you working so hard? No one cares about you. This morning, Alice just pitied you because she still needs your math homework answer for tomorrow. You are alone. They just cared about your mark. You're still a loser and always will be. Look at yourself. Nowhere better than Astra. Why don't you stop? You miss your mom, right? And with that, I closed my book and without hesitating, I took out that bottle from the nightstand and went straight to bed. After breakfast, Jason William pulls out a paper that he found on my desk. He spoke.
Explain this, Eva William. A 70?
I gulped and said, It was a pop quiz, and I haven't prepared for it. Jason slammed the table.
Still, with the same excuse?
I went silent. The voice appears. A disappointment. Jason speaks again.
The exam weeks is on the corner. If you do the same mistake again, I'm sure you'll regret it.
With that, he left the dining room. Loneliness crept in as I remembered how it was before, when my mother was here with me. And without realizing it, I was in a flood of tears. That night, I decided to work harder than before. I never stopped to rest because it would only waste my time. The voice kept coming back, but I tried my best not to hear it, even though I failed many times. The exam week soon arrived, and my head kept hurting day by day. I tried to do my best, but I guess that just wasn't enough. I'd overthink every time I submit the exam paper. The anxiety's getting worse. What if I fill in the wrong answer? Have I already changed the unit in number 25? And many other anxious thoughts in my head. Finally, report card day arrived. My dad and I went to school to pick it up and consulted about my progress at school. The teacher said that my performance wasn't as good as it used to. Hearing that, my worst fear came true. Will Dad be mad again today? But he smiled at the teacher and said,
Is that so? I think she just seems a little bit off these days. I'll make sure she won't repeat the same mistake.
When we arrived at home, the smile on my dad's face disappeared.
To my room now.
He said with his low voice that sent a shiver down my spine. Believe me, when Jason William is mad, even the devil shivers in fear. He gripped his hand tightly until his knuckles turned to white and hissed.
You're really such a disappointment. I work so hard, day and night, to support your school needs. And this is all you've got? Is this the way you pay me back?
With higher notes on the end. I flinched while looking down to the floor and shed a single tear. He spoke again, this time with a calmer yet dangerous voice.
Next semester, you better work harder, or else I don't want to see any X in your report card. Now off.
I walked to my room while crying. It wasn't long before the voice came back. Sad. Why don't we end this and meet Mom? There must be a happy place to stay. No fake friends, no toxic parents. you also don't have to be such a burden to your dad. You don't even have to try harder to be perfect. So why don't you just, end this here? After closing my bedroom door, I cried harder. I tried to deny it, but everything that the voice said is a fact. I'm useless, a burden, a disappointment. I'm not the perfect daughter expects me to be. After some time of thinking, I picked up that bottle on my nightstand, my sleeping pills. I emptied the bottle, poured it all out, and said, "Sorry, Mom, Dad, I am indeed a disappointment. It must be hard for both of you to raise me, but don't worry. This useless kid won't burden you anymore." With that, I put all of the pills into my mouth, drank some water to dissolve it, and not long after that, everything turned black. The next morning, my dad felt an ache in his chest, regretting that last night he snapped at me. So he decided to say sorry during breakfast. He waited for 15 minutes, but I didn't show up. He had a bad feeling, so he decided to check up on me in my room. Single knock, no answer. Second knock, still no answer. He then went inside just to find me lying on the floor, pale, with an empty sleeping pills bottle beside me. In a panic, he swiftly picked me up and took me to the car, then sped me off to the hospital. After being checked, the doctor concluded that I have tried to commit suicide. Stress and depression might be the issue. His words left my dad speechless. And he, for the first time in his life, reflected on their life together. He didn't expect that his only daughter would be like this, and yet he realized that he didn't really know her. Not anymore. 2 days I didn't wake up, giving my father a lot more time to himself than he would have liked. Guilt and shame being his only companion as he longed for his daughter's forgiveness and also his wife's. After I woke up, my dad hugged me and apologized. He cried because of the overwhelming relief. He promised to be a better dad for me as the two of us cried in each other's arms. I had no words to say, for only sobs came out from my mouth. A knock sounded, and we both let go of our arms to look at the door. My dad then stood up, without forgetting to wipe his tears, and opened it. It turned out that Alice was standing there. Alice said,
Looks like I came at the wrong time.
He just smiled, then let Alice in as she proceeded to move closer to me.
Eva, I'm sorry, I'm not a good friend. I can't even help you, but I'm happy that you're still here. Will you give me a second chance?
I smiled and said yes, and both of us hugged. Since then, the friendship of Alice and I grew closer and closer. Alice never lets me down, and she studies harder, so she doesn't need to depend on others to graduate. Furthermore, my relationship with my dad has improved a lot. We're open to each other and understand each other a lot more now. And the voice? She's still there. But I decided not to listen to a single word she says. I can hear her, but I won't. I believe in myself and love myself more, because that's what's important. The end. So, as the title mentions, just live your life. You can't be perfect, and that's okay. That's human nature. But you have to be able to accept whoever you are, because you are you, and no one can change that. Please value your life in the same way that I valued your life today. May the Lord value our life and deliver you and me from all danger. Thank you so much for listening to our story. We hope you enjoyed every bit of it and find the message helpful. Just remember to all those out there that you are not alone. So always love yourself, and bye. See you again soon.